guys, weekly vlog 18. I can't believe it's getting so far into my uni year. It's crazy, I'm like over halfway now. I am just about to go to the library and do some work. Not sure if there's a vintage fair going on at the SU. I'm going to have a nosy in and yeah, get some work done because I am going out later tonight, so yay! Theatre times! That don't already know, Son of a Preacher Man features some of the greatest hits of Dusty Springfield, and to be honest I didn't think I knew that many Dusty Springfield songs, the obvious one being Son of a Preacher Man, but then I also knew The Look of Love and You Don't Have to Say You Love Me, I Only Want to Be With You. Those songs were just a couple of ones that I knew, but the rest of the songs in the show I didn't know. But yeah, this programme here is lovely. It's got a picture of Dusty there, who just looks fabulous there, very, very 60s, I love it. It cost me £2 at the box office. Funny story. I went to go collect my ticket from the box office and I said, can I buy a programme please from here, or do I have to go into the foyer in the theatre to buy one? He was like, no, you can buy one, they're £2. So I was like, £2? That's really cheap for a theatre programme. So in I went to the theatre and there were ushers, a couple of ushers standing around, and they're like, hi, would you like to buy a programme? It's £1. And I was like, you what, mate? I was like, I've been robbed. I said, I've paid £2 in the box office for this. And they're like, oh, well, we've just been told to reduce them to £1. And I was like, I can't believe this. I've paid £2 and everyone else coming through the door tonight is going to be paying £1. I was like, oh well. So I went upstairs to the dress circle and about 5 minutes later someone technical from like the theatre I guess came along and said to me, did you pay £2 at the box office for your programme? And I went, yes. And he went, here, and he gave me £1 back. So I was then able to buy the single, which is Diana Vickers singing the title song, Son of a Preacher Man. So yeah, I bought that. I was like, I like Diana Vickers' voice. I think she's got a lovely tone to her voice. I was like, I'm having that. Now for those of you that don't know, Son of a Preacher Man is directed and choreographed by Craig Revel Horwood, who is famous obviously for Strictly Come Dancing, but he's done quite a few shows now. He's done Sister Act, which stars Alexandra Burke on the tour, and I believe that's kind of similar to this in that it was actor-musician-y. And he's also played Miss Hannigan in the UK tour of Annie, and I believe he's doing it now on the West End. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't really pay much attention to Annie, sorry. But the book for Son of a Preacher Man was written by Warner Brown. The set and costume designer was Morgan Large. Musical supervisor and arrangements by Paul Herbert. Lighting design by Richard G. Jones. Sound design by Richard Brooker. and musical director Brady Mould. So the storyline is basically this: it's three people who are called Paul, Alison and Kat. Paul is a middle-aged man, Alison is a slightly younger woman, and then Kat is this teenager, like late teens, early 20s young lady, and they've all got problems relating to their love life, and they all have a connection to this place called the Preacher Man, which was a record shop in Soho, and Paul remembers actually going there. Alison has memories of her mum telling her what it was like, and Kat has a gran who's passed away and who also has passed on memories of the Preacher Man, which was, and then it turns out it's this musical record shop, but then there was the guy who ran it who was also called the Preacher Man, and he'd give wisdom and advice to anyone going to the shop. And so they've all got their issues, and they go there and they find that it's not the Preacher Man shop anymore. It's been turned into a coffee shop, and it is run by Simon, who is the son of the Preacher Man. And he is then enlisted to help them with their lives by them, and things just start going a bit wrong, and it all unravels. Yeah, this show is interesting. The first opening song is the prologue, and it's called, there's also Going Back, and for an opening song you kind of want something that's a bit high energy, I guess, or something that's got a bit of a beat to it. For me, the opening act was a bit too melancholy and a bit sad. Like, if you're going to have a jukebox musical, then I think you need to choose some of the best songs from that band or that singer's catalogue to really like get the audience engaged from the beginning. But it was just a bit unclear in the opening number what exactly was going on at first. Like, you could see Kat with a wreath for her gran, but then you didn't really know why Alison was lying on the floor for most of the show, and Simon was in the middle, and he was sat on the floor for most of the first half, which was a bit confusing. I personally was thrown off with how many ensemble members were having music, were musicians as well, like having instruments. I didn't really get the whole them being on stage trying to act while they've got a saxophone in the mouth. I didn't really like that, and I just thought, is that just a cheap way of saving money on putting a proper orchestra somewhere? I'm not familiar, like I said, I'm not familiar with Dusty Springfield, but from what I heard in the production tonight, there weren't that many uplifting songs, and the ones that they did have were just a bit too short. Like, they cut some of the songs that were really good in half, and there were only like small segments of each song. The storylines that were individual for the characters, Paul, Alison and Kat, seemed a little bit underdeveloped as well. Alison's especially seemed to lack any substance. She was a widow who's lost her husband, and then she's got a crush on her student. And then it didn't seem to really go anywhere really in the first half, I thought. One of my favourite parts of the show was a song called Mr. DJ, which I really enjoyed, but again that was cut dead short. Like, that was a blink and you'll miss it moment. Another thing I enjoyed about the show was the Cappuccino sisters. They're these three characters who work in the coffee shop, and you could tell from the off that when it came to costume design, it was really only their costumes that they'd gone to the extreme and put the money into, because they were so out there compared to the rest of the cast. Like, the rest of the cast, you could probably find their stuff off the street, off the market, but the Cappuccino sisters had this look with wigs and headpieces, and their costumes were just amazing. I love the Cappuccino sisters' costumes, and I really wish the Cappuccino sisters had been used a bit more in the show. I would have liked to have seen more of them. And what I will say is that Deborah Stevenson, who played Alison, she was alright throughout the whole show. She wasn't stand out for me, like she was just average. I thought she did a good enough job, but yeah, it just confused me, her character really. Michael Howe was really good as, what was his name? Paul. And Diana Vickers, well, Son of a Preacher Man was the reason I went for, was because of Diana Vickers. I knew she could sing the Dusty Springfield songs because I'd seen her in Rise and Fall of Little Voice back in 2009. And yeah, she did really, really well. Ian Reddington is really good as Simon as well. He did the best with what he could with his role. Sorry, I'm just going off my notes in here that I've got, and I have to go act by act. The set design, The Son of a Preacher Man, is very basic. It's like the stage, and then they've got a round proscenium arch thing, which kind of reminded me of Wonderland, which I also saw at Sunderland earlier this year. So I thought that might have been lifted from them really. But then there's this set where the only bit of set really is the coffee shop, and the doors open out and the doors close, and then part of it can open out and look like a little bit like something else. But that was the limit to the set design really. There wasn't a lot to the set, but it worked for what they did with it. The lighting was also very good as well. I thought it set the mood perfectly for some of the more upbeat numbers that there were, and then quite melancholy for some of these slower ballady numbers. The orchestra did drown out a few of the actors and actresses at times. I couldn't hear them from the front of the dress circle, particularly Deborah. Deborah seemed to get drowned out a bit, but it did happen to all of them at some point or another, which I hate that. I hate when the orchestra, you can't hear the singers, because you want to hear them both in equal proportions really. And one thing I will say is that this show has 2 swings, but in the programme they're listed as an on-stage swing / ensemble. And I'm like, what's the actual point in that? Because for me, swings are meant to be off stage. They can sing in a booth if needed, but they're supposed to be off the show because they're meant to be there to cover anyone else who's feeling poorly or whatever. And I think if you're just going to have them on stage all the time, you may as well just call them ensemble and not bother having swings. And yeah, I thought at the end of the first half that the tempo of the show was just a bit slow, and I did wonder where the storyline was going to end up in Act 2. And then Act 2 started, and things I can say about that were I liked the linking of Alison's male boy problem. She was a teacher who had a crush on her student, and that student ended up getting with Kat, Diana Vickers' character. I liked that. I loved the twist about Mike. I really liked Liam Vincent Kilbride, who played Mike. He was supposed to be Kat's love interest for most of the show, and you think he's a certain way, but then at the end he's not. I thought that was a good little twist, a little bit of a spin, because you kind of hope that he gets together with Kat, and then in the end she doesn't, because she ends up realising what a jerk he is. I was a bit confused, like I say, about the character of Paul, like his character arc. The way his storyline came out was he used to go to the preacher man back in the 60s, and he fell in love with this guy, and then he finds out this guy who's married but has lost his wife, and the guy's confused about why he's not feeling sad for his wife, but then at the end he's like, I'm straight, I'm not gay like you and whatever, and then Paul's just like, it's okay, I'll be here for you. He's a bit confused, like, are they going to be together? Are they just going to be friends? I need a definitive answer on that really. Another part of the ending that confused me as well was that there hadn't really been much interaction, I don't think, between the characters of Alison and Simon until the second half. There was a little bit where they're sat together having a cup of coffee and talking, and then at the end, spoiler alert, all of a sudden they end up together, and I'm like, where did that even come from? Like, you didn't know where half of these storylines were going, which really infuriated me. So then for those two to end up together, it was just weird and unexplainable, really. And I really wanted to enjoy this show, I really did. And I kept thinking halfway through, why am I not enjoying this? And I'm like, I hit the nail on the head at the end. I was like, there was no comedy. I didn't laugh once at this. Now, I wasn't expecting it to be like Young Frankenstein, which I had really enjoyed because that was just laugh a minute. But I think for a good musical, you need to have some comedy, and there was none of it. Like, there was so much potential for comedy to be in the show, and it just was too serious. It takes itself too seriously, I think. I think it's been played a bit too seriously, so it makes the lighter moments in the show a bit harder to follow along, if you get my drift. And an example of where they missed potential comedy was an actor called John Bonner, who plays Madge, Jack and Ensemble. And when he's playing Madge, obviously he's a woman in drag and he's being the cleaner. And I think just the standard, he's a drag, you know, he's acting drag, he's pretending to be a woman. They miss out on any kind of comedy with that at all, really. And I got to speak to John after the show, and he said that all the way through rehearsals for the show, and from the opening night in Bromley up until the Saturday night in Bromley, his character had been male for Madge. Madge had actually been a hippie called Otis. But then from the Saturday night onwards, they changed him to a woman. Apparently he was intended to be a woman, but they couldn't find a woman to cast for the role, or they just couldn't, I don't know why, but so they changed it to Otis as a man, a hippie character, and then they changed it back and were just like, yeah, you can play a woman in drag. Which is a bit odd for me. It seems a bit slapdash and a bit changing the goalposts last minute. But yeah, they've missed out on potential comedy with that. And obviously, like, the finale of the show is Diana with the rest of the cast singing the title song, Son of a Preacher Man. Like, that is the number that had most people in the stalls up on their feet. Not everybody, but yeah, it's like the big money maker. It's the one you wait for. You know it's coming, you don't know when, and then it hits you, and all the cast are singing it, and Diana's Vickers is sat there on the counter of the shop singing away. And yeah, that's really good, really done really well. But there's just too much that's not right with this show to make me love it. So on that basis, I'm rating it a 4 out of 10. So yeah, I'm a bit disappointed that I have had to rate it so low, but there's so much work that needs to be done on it, I'm afraid. But yeah, those are just some thoughts I have on Son of a Preacher Man, really. It was good though, like going, not the show itself, but actually being able to go to Sunderland. This is the first time I've taken the metro from Newcastle, and I just love that I can be in this wonderful city of Newcastle with the Theatre Royal and the arena, which can host shows, and then jump on the metro and go to Sunderland Empire and see some of the big touring productions there as well. I think it's absolutely amazing. It's like getting on at King's Cross in London and going into Central, and that's what I love, and I can't wait for the next couple of years while I'm here at uni, just being able to go back and forth between all these great touring venues. I'm now going to get on, and I need to pack because I'm going home tomorrow. So I will see you guys on either Tuesday or probably Wednesday. So see you later. Hi guys, I'm back from my long weekend away at home. I have had a big sleep today, and I'm now getting ready for work because I'm on night shift. But I want to show you, I've got my new iPhone 6. It's in gold and I love it. It's so big. It's got so much more space on there, and it's a really handy little phone, and the battery seems a lot better than on the iPhone 5 as well. I also wanted to show you my Halloween costume because that arrived over the weekend and Danny kindly put it in my room for me. So here it is. Let's open it. Ha ha ha, I'm a Ghostbuster. I'm not quite sure what we're doing in this flat yet. Danny said drinks or a party or something, but I'm hoping we'll go out for a little bit so that I can wear this. But yeah, very, very cool. I'm quite happy with it. And it's from Asda and it only cost me £22 with George. So yeah, I will give this a try on tomorrow probably. It even comes with a cool inflatable backpack there, so I can blow it up and be like ghost catching. Hi guys, so I've been a bit of a rubbish vlogger today, I'll happily admit that. I came in from placement, I came in from work this morning, had some breakfast, went to bed, and I slept for most of the morning, and then I got up about lunchtime, went to Morrison's, did some food shopping, accidentally fell asleep again on my bed. This evening I've been writing up a reflection that my mentor wanted me to do, so I'm going to show her that tomorrow and hopefully she'll sign off another competency, fingers crossed. I'll have to see what mood she's in. And now I'm going to start editing this weekly vlog, and I want to edit the Disney haul video from when me and Matt hung out the other week because I've been meaning to, but I've just been busy, so... And then I'm doing some more research on hip replacement risks, like the risks afterwards and stuff that I can look out for on the ward and further my learning. We're collecting the rubbish at this time of night, it's 8:25, wow. So yeah, this is me. I'll try and log in tomorrow with you after I finish placement for the day. Yeah. But this is my day. So guys, I now need to edit the weekly vlog. I meant to start it last night and ended up watching lots of Disney videos, namely my own and Matt's. Placement's been really good today actually. I've surprisingly enjoyed myself, and my mentor's like completely changed, so like she's been really lovely and quite supportive today, and I feel like we've got a lot done, like it's just good. Made sweet potato fries with barbecue sauce, it's the best. But yeah, been a good week. I know I haven't been up to much. One thing I do want to talk about is that, sorry, I've been tweeted by a Twitter page called the Theatre Community Awards, and loads of people I know and watch myself are all up to be nominated for like Best Theatre Vlogger, Best Theatre Blogger, basically anything to do related with theatre and like people's opinions, bloggers and vloggers. And you guys have got a chance to nominate people who will then go up for a vote for Best Theatre Vlogger. I'm one of those people whose name's been mentioned, but obviously I need you guys to vote for me, so I'll put the link into the website down below. But if you could go to it, and if you felt like nominating me for Best Theatre Vlogger, I would love that. It would be an honour to be nominated. I don't even want to win, but just to be nominated and recognised for some of the content I've made, which is theatre related, would be so awesome. Like, not gonna lie, it really would. So yeah, if you feel like doing so, click the link down below. Give me a thumbs up if you've liked this week. Comment down below as well, and hit subscribe if you're not already, and I will see you next time, guys. Bye.